G'day and welcome to the Ball Boys Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Hoopball. My name is Mitch Casey and you can find me on Ball Boys NBA on Twitter. Today we are doing a 10-team roto mock draft. No punting in this podcast episode. Let's go.
Jordan open. Chicago with the lead. Bryant to Shaq.
Not a game. We talking about practice.
LeBron James with no regard for human life. Anything's possible!
Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang!
Curry for three. Wow! Unbelievable! Making it rain in New York.
We the North are now we the champions.
Not the destination, it's the journey. Mamba out.
G'day and welcome to the Ball Boys Fantasy Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Mitch Casey, and once again, you can find me on Twitter at Ball Boys NBA and on Instagram at Ball Boys Fantasy Basketball. Couple of guests joining us today. The guru, as always, Callum Marcus in the building. How you doing, man?
Doing well, Mitchie. Ready for another draft. Let's get it going.
Getting right into it. And also for his second time around, the hoop ball master himself, Adam King. How you doing, mate?
Good, boys. Looking forward to a roto draft, my first one of the season. And I will be punting for anyone that's interested. I feel like I have to, but I'll punt something. I don't know what yet.
Might have to draft a few more centers than history has shown on the last couple of pods, but we'll see how that all turns out for us. So, like we said, it's a 10-team, 9-category roto mock draft. I'm going to be selecting at pick 8, Callum is at pick 4, and Adam King is at pick number 2. Let's get this draft started. All right, so what are we thinking here, boys? I'll throw it over to you, Adam, first. I don't think it changes too much roto to head-to-head who you're selecting here. Are you hoping for someone? Is it Jokic? Is it Steph? Or are you actually going James Harden with the Kyrie news?
Look, I mean, if Jokic falls, I'll take him, but I think at this point we're just assuming that he's going at 1 in every single draft. So, look, it's between Steph and Harden for me. I'm probably going to go Harden, I think.
Okay.
I just think in a roto league, there we go, Jokic goes off the board. So I will take Harden. Look, I just think in a roto league, he does a little bit more. Rebounds well for a guard, which helps, means I don't need to sort of chase a 12 rebound a game center. I can sort of just grab someone who's maybe going to get me 8 or 9 rebounds instead. And look, happy with him. And Curry goes at 3, so no surprise there either.
I think they're the consensus top 3 now. In a head-to-head league, I would be very happy taking in Giannis here. Who are you taking at number 4 here, Cal?
I think in a roto league, I think Luka probably is the right pick here. He does everything. Yes, look, he is a bulk shooter. The free throws could be a bit better. But in terms of the sheer points, rebounds, assists, it's pretty crazy. So I'm going to take Luka.
Luka Doncic. You're not worried about the percentages?
I think we'll roll with it. It could be salvageable. We'll see what maybe I need another big man on the swing to up it, to get that field goal up. But I'm feeling Luka in this one.
Okay. Well, that makes my decision a little easier because I was at pick 8. I was wondering who I was going to select. I think personally I wouldn't be taking Luka that high myself. Oh, and Giannis goes at pick number 6, and I think obviously you're in a roto league, so you're obviously going to be putting yourself in a bit of a hole there with those free throw percentage. So I'm going to have a few players that I'm pretty happy to take at pick 8 here. I'm hoping I had Jason Tatum and Karl Anthony Towns on my board, hoping one of them fell to me. Didn't expect maybe Lillard or Kevin Durant to be there, so I might have a bit of a decision on my hands. Who are we going here? Just make sure everyone.
Did you have a preference between a Dame Lillard or a Kevin Durant in a roto format?
I think Kevin Durant is my preference here. I'm hoping he falls to me now in a roto league, and of course there
sniped.
he goes.
He's gone.
So just as I say that, all right now, I think I didn't expect him to be here, but I think I will have to go with a Damian Lillard here. It's going to shore up my free throw percentage, which is something I'm very conscious of. I am conscious of the percentages early. There's not many guys after the first few rounds that can give you bulk volume in those percentages. So, I'm going to make sure it's Yeah, I'm going to go Damian Lillard here at pick number 8, which I don't think is... I'd be surprised if he's there in a lot of drafts, but hey, in this draft, he has fallen. And Tatum.
I think that's a great pick. Dame Lillard, pick 8, pretty huge. As you touched on, look, the field goal, obviously you might have to try and pick that up. But the free throw percentage, he was one of the best contributors for free throw percentage last season. So that's going to be a really good positive input. Everything else, points, threes, definitely a good steal.
Paul George and Anthony Davis gone at the turn here. And again, this is the beauty about sometimes doing these 10-team leagues. All our teams are going to look pretty good after the first few rounds because obviously... turn that sound right off. Thank you very much. Okay. Damn it. Okay, I was hoping one of those guys were going to come back to me. I think I just have to take the best player available at this point. I did want one of those big guys, Davis or Embiid, to come back to me with their field goal percentage. But I've been preaching all year, all preseason long, that I think there is a clear top 13. And the 13th player that I think is available is still here. In a roto league, I'm less worried about his risk of unvaccination, and so I'm going to take that player, and it's Bradley Beal. So a couple of guards to get me started off. I'm hoping that I'm going to get a big man on the way back. What are your thoughts on Beal and his vaccination status, Adam?
I'm not. I may be bumping down one place, 2 places, not too much, because I mean he might miss 10 games, 12 games, but I've said it on many podcasts. Most players I can see missing 8 games, 6 games. Like there's not going to be many that play more than 75 games. I wouldn't think this season. So, I think he's fine there. I mean, you need points early, so grabbing him at 13 is fine.
Yeah, I think he's a clear top 13 guy. I think that 13 players separate themselves, and I personally think there's a bit of a drop-off before the next sort of players here. And we've got a few... Looks like we've got another punter in the building here going with Zion Williams. I think that was the Giannis Antetokounmpo drafter. So, we said there was no punting on this episode, but looks like there'll be plenty of it going around here. Cal, you're on the clock.
I am. I would like to get a big man. There's a few here. Sabonis, Vucevic. You still got Randall. All of which would be good picks here, just to kind of match with Luka, fill the stats. There's always a bit of an argument between Sabonis and Randall. You're pretty much a win-win. There's not a huge difference there. I'm probably... Or do I go LeBron, Luka combo? That could be interesting. I think I'm just going to go Sabonis here, get some more big man stats. The field goal at about 54% will kind of up what Luka's given me. So I'm really trying to get up in the standings in the field goal there. And rebounds are pretty solid. I'm still pretty low on blocks. I may have to think about that on some more of the swings for my next bigs. But I've got a pretty good all-round group of stats here outside the defensive stuff.
Yeah, I don't mind the Sabonis pick. Personally, I'd rather a Vucevic or a Bam in a roto format, but they're all pretty close in my eyes. All right, Adam, you're on the clock.
That's my horn. Let's turn that off. There we go. So I went with Harden first. So I'm sort of looking for a centre here, and I did have a player in mind who is there, but I didn't think Vucevic would still be available. So I'm going to take him.
That's a great pick.
Yeah, and I think, as I said, I mean, he's going to get rebounds, but he's not going to be sort of a 12 rebound a game guy, but he'll get 10 a game, and with Harden, that's fine. Combined, that's almost 20 per game.
Yeah, I think that's very, very good value there. Fred VanVleet's feet didn't get FVV, so pour one out for him. Love the name, by the way, Fred VanVleet's Fleet Feet, if I can say that 10 times fast. All right, and we've got Bam Adebayo off the board. So a bit of a little mini run of big men there with Sabonis, Vucevic, and Adebayo going. We know that this year the big men seem to go on a bit of a run sort of a few rounds later. Do you think that means we should boost up the value or rank these guys earlier in the early rounds? Either of you guys?
I think we do. I honestly think we do. It's hard to get some good big men. I think we've really realized doing a few of these mocks, they tend to go pretty quickly. Once you're outside the top, I want to say maybe 60, it can be a bit more on the slim picking. You got a few more flyers back there, but nothing really rock solid like you have on the board right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I think whilst you don't want to go too crazy, and again, if you're in a head-to-head league, you can always punt the categories. But in this kind of roto format, I do think you do have to just boost those big guys up, and especially the big guys that can hit free throws. It's over to you again, Adam, with your round 3 pick.
And there goes the guy I wanted. So I was going to take LaMelo there, but I'm not anymore. And I had a queue of 1. So
okay, scrambling.
Look, I've got a few options. Look, I'm sort of with Harden and Vucevic. I guess points are sort of not terrible for me, but Vucevic is probably only a 19 or 20 point per game player. So I want to probably lock in some points here. And some assists. I mean, I don't need too many assists because Vooch will actually get some assists. And Harden, well, he could potentially lead the league. So I'm going to go with Zach LaVine. Probably a little bit higher than I sort of would
pick 23
have him. But
I think that's all right.
I think that's okay.
I think in a roto, I boost his value up a little bit because he's one of those guards that gives you positives in both percentages. Which is a bit rare. Yeah, you lack the defensive stats, but you can get that fairly consistently throughout the draft. And yeah, like you said, the points are really important to get early.
Yeah. So it's sort of probably looking at my team thus far. It's probably steals is what I need to shore up a little bit now.
Yep. All right, Cal, you're on the clock here.
Just me on the clock. So, I mean, LeBron James is kind of staring at me. I feel like he fits my team somewhat well right now. Just stacking these stats and then maybe specializing a few later on in the draft. Then again, I still got Donovan Mitchell. He's pretty good. Lets you down a bit in field goal. But outside of that, he definitely still could fit my team. But I'm going to take LeBron. I think some people are sleeping on him. He could be a contender for MVP. And I feel like, yeah, look, Westbrook's there. There's some rumors, but I just don't think he's the type to rest. I'm still pretty confident with what he's going to produce.
With your selection of LeBron there, are you going with a bit of a soft free throw percentage punt with your selection of Sabonis, Luka, and LeBron, all subpar free throw shooters?
I'm definitely forced to do that, but in the roto, I'll be in the bottom quarter on that category. We'll see what the next few picks are and what I can pick up. But obviously right now, I'm not going to be high up in those categories at all, but I got really good points, pretty reasonable rebounds, and my assists are just pretty solid all through the board as well.
Okay, fair enough. I think there is something to be said about punting, and especially if you know where there's another team punting, like the team that does select Zion Williams and a Giannis. You know you're not probably going to be last in that category, so at least you're not losing on out all the points. But interesting strategy. Be interesting to see how your team looks at the end of the draft here. All right, coming up to my pick. I'm definitely hoping that a big man lands here. People watching along can see my screen. I've got 2 guys highlighted, so I definitely have a preference for one over the other, but we will see who is there at the end. To give you guys a bit of insight, I've got DeAndre Ayton and Clint Capella highlighted in my queue because I need those rebounds. I need the field goal percentage. I need the blocks to go in there. I prefer DeAndre Ayton just to look after my free throw percentage. I am trying to look after both percentages early so then I can take a few more shitty percentage guys later in the draft. Let's go. Who's on the board here? Fred VanVleet's feet. Jesus Christ, I couldn't say that.
It's a hard one. It definitely is a hard one.
I'm going to master it by the end of the draft. All right, and both my guys are on the table. So, yes, I'm going to be taking DeAndre Ayton to shore up my rebounds. I've got plenty of points, assists, free throw percentages, and threes, so I'm okay there. Just need some of those big guy stats. So there, I've got my center on the board, and I'm pretty happy with that. At pick 29, he's definitely lower on my board in a head-to-head league, but in a roto, I think he gets a bit higher in terms of value there.
You did mention Clint Capella, who you were also considering.
Yep.
Are you concerned about his Achilles? Because that is kind of spooking me a little bit. Apparently he's got obviously not a torn Achilles, but there's some kind of injury there. Sore
Achilles. I'm not too worried unless there's a bit more of a timeline coming out from the team. It's pre-season, so all of these guys are resting with sore knees and sore Achilles. So based on the wording that I've seen so far, not super concerned. He's a pretty durable guy traditionally. So you're a little bit concerned with Clint?
I have been a little bit. I don't like seeing anything to do with the Achilles, obviously. So, look, maybe it is a preseason thing to give him a bit extra rest. He was a bit of a workhorse last season. I don't think he missed a whole lot of games, but 63 out of 72. So that's pretty good. You'd be pretty content with that if you could retrace a bit of 80, 90% of games played.
All right, so it's back to my pick here. I guess the biggest stats that I am missing at the moment is steals. I know who I want to get. It's not letting me because his name is shorter than 3 letters. Okay, give me my guy. I'm really high on this guy this year, and it's OG Anunoby, and especially in a roto format, his low turnovers, his good percentages, high steals. Give me some OG at what pick number was that? Pick 33. I'm very happy to get OG at that point. I also want to just highlight we just had Kristaps Porzingis go off the board a little bit higher than I've seen him go in a few other drafts, but I actually really like it. I'm really keen on Kristaps. I like him better in a roto format where you've got those games limit, which kind of takes the sting away from his missed games throughout the season. Do you guys think that that's an all right spot for Kristaps to go?
What number are we even at?
That was at 32.
32.
I think that was.
Look, if it pays off, it's completely fine because he's a top 20 guy per game.
Yep.
I'm okay with it. It's probably a bit higher than I would take him, but as we said, all players are going to miss games this season. So, look, I think once you're in this area, whether you take him now and if you want him, he's not going to come back to you. So, that's fine. Oh, it's coming up on me here.
Callum's on the board. Just to continue, you take your play here, Cal. Just to continue on Porzingis, I think he's one of the best risk-reward picks in the early middle rounds because, I like you said, he's a top 20 per game guy. And, if he's like missing the same, on average, amount of games as everyone else in the league, I think you've got a bit of a steal on your hands, as much of a steal as you can get in these sort of early rounds, personally. Yeah,
no, I think he's proven what he can do. It's just how many games he plays, and the fact that he seems to be injured every year, like there seems to be something every year, that's the concern. But maybe this is the year that he plays 70 games.
All right, Cal, we've been talking a lot. Who you selected?
I'm going to take Russell Westbrook.
He's really leaning into the punt here. Things are just getting
going for a bit of a punt.
Things are getting
My
crazy.
field goal will be a bit odd, but my free throw percentage is obviously going to be pretty dumpster. It's going to be in the garbage. So that's okay. I lent in here not really aiming to a punt, but we've got a pretty soft to harsh punt on the free throws. But I'm okay with it. I've got a lot of assists on my team right now, a lot of points, so many points. My field goal is still going to be pretty competitive. I'm expecting Westbrook's field goal to definitely jump up from last season, playing with LeBron and playing with Anthony Davis. I think his assists will still be there. The rebound should be there. Anthony Davis is playing a bit more center as well. He'll be swiping in there like he always is.
You know my feelings about Westbrook, Callum. I must say I'm not a big fan of the pick. I must let it be known.
I think 37's okay. And for a roto format, I feel like there's something there, especially when his field goal will come up.
Yeah, I'm even less convinced in a roto format. But we'll go over to you, Adam. Who are you selecting here? You obviously took Christian Wood on your last pick.
I did. So I'm just getting a bit of a cue. I had just got to decide. So I've got 2 players in mind. Let me just make sure they're both there. Yep, they are. I said with my last pick I needed to get steals, and then I took Christian Wood, who doesn't get any steals. So, it's steals with this pick.
Okay.
So the 2, I'm looking at Anthony Edwards and Lonzo Ball here.
Yes.
And I think I'm probably just going to go with Anthony Edwards just for those points.
Yeah.
Because then come later in the draft, I don't need to be sort of going, I need points, and then I'm reaching for these guys like Evan Fournier or Gary Trent, or these guys who will get you 15 points but nothing else. Look, I'm okay with him there.
Yeah. No, I don't mind it at all. I think he's solid. A little bit shaky on the turnovers and percentages, but like you said, those points are super valuable.
And look, to be honest, turnovers, I'm not worried. Like,
do you still go into like a roto draft and not care about turnovers?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not actively punting them, but I also don't care about them because you chase these guys at the top who are going to score and have the ball in their hands. They're going to turn the ball over. So, it doesn't bother me too much with turnovers.
I agree. I sort of, if I have the option, and there goes Lonzo Ball immediately after your pick.
Yeah.
I was hoping he was going to come to me. Callum, you're back on the clock here.
So I'm back on the clock. I'm thinking maybe I will just stack a bit more guards. Currently, I really do need some more steals. My guards right now is Luka and Westbrook. So I've actually got a lot of rebounds. Both those guys can put up 10 rebounds a game.
Lots of rebounds.
It's a lot of rebounds. So I'm probably going to eye down someone and maybe a steal specialist. So I'm loving DeJounte Murray this year. I want him on my team. I'm going to take him. I think he's going to get a lot of minutes with the Spurs, and those steals will definitely kind of up me in that one rank there. I think pretty considerably. He could lead the league in steals, honestly. Yeah,
I like DeJounte Murray. I actually think he is going a little late in drafts. I think he could be potentially a big breakout. We've been seeing him improve each and every year, and obviously the hole that's left by DeMar DeRozan. So I don't mind the pick there. Obviously, he's not someone that gets any blocks. His threes for a guard are a bit lower than you'd like, but you can't deny the production in other areas. So I don't mind it there. Rashawn Holmes, I think that's a great pick there at pick 45. I do love me some Rashawn Holmes especially. Oh, fuck me. There goes my guy. Jaylen Brown. Okay, I'm going to have to rethink my board here. Jaylen Brown at pick 46. I think that's awesome value. So good job, new Team 8, who was a late addition to the draft. What do you guys think about Jaylen Brown? I think that's a bit of a steal there at that spot.
Yeah. Yeah, he's sort of about as solid as you'll find in this range. Yeah. He's not going to sort of blow up and be a top 20, top 25 player, but he'll just cruise along at top 30, top 40 value, no problems at all. Yeah. And he looked really good. Actually, I watched a bit of the Celtics game yesterday. You're on the board too.
Yeah, I'm browsing through.
Yeah, so watching it, the first thing I noticed was how lean he looks. Looks quick, lean. So I think it looks like he's lost a little bit of weight in the off season, probably just to help with those little injuries and niggles that players get. I think he'll be really good this season.
I'm going to be selecting my nemesis from last year who I had on my team, Jaren Jackson Jr. with this next pick. Just basically my reasoning there is the big man run. I want to get a little bit ahead of the curve here. I also know that blocks are concentrated in a few different guys, so I want to keep building up those categories. My team looks pretty safe from an injury standpoint, so I'm okay taking a little bit more of a riskier guy. In saying that, though, no injuries before this season. He's looking good, so I am pretty happy taking Jaren Jackson Jr. at that spot.
I'm interested to see where Kyrie goes in this draft.
Yeah. It's so hard to know. I mean, maybe it's better in a roto format.
Yeah, I think it is because you basically have all these IR spots, so it's better, but if he's going to only play 35 games.
Yeah, I was going to say it's still half the season.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be touching him anywhere because I just don't think he'll fall far enough.
Yeah, I've got that. Oh, Draymond Green goes ahead with Eagle Eye taken. So here we go. Here's the big man run starting to occur here with John Collins and Draymond Green going. And it's back onto me. I think Draymond Green is awesome value in the drafts this year. It's hard to take him super early because of the points, but I think he is awesome value. All right, let's have a look here. Again, I'm just staying ahead of the big man run here. And looking at a big guy now. Do I go? I'm looking at two here. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take my guy here. I'm going to take the big Celtic, Robert Williams. At pick 53, I think that's fine. I'm more comfortable with him in a roto format than a head-to-head, but I guess it depends on your build in a head-to-head league. With him starting the other day in the preseason game, it builds me up with a little bit more confidence, although Al Horford said he was expecting to start. they might be starting together by the looks of it, which gives me more confidence that there's going to be more minutes at centre in general. So I think his upside, especially at this spot, is sky high as a crusher per minute producer. Callum, you're on the clock.
I'm on the clock. I'd love to get some blocks, but there's no one really in this range. They're hard. I can probably get someone on the turn, so maybe I'll save that for next pick. My threes are pretty average.
I did notice that before.
Outside of Luka, my threes aren't looking great. So I like CJ. CJ was averaging almost 5 threes a game before he went down with his injury last season, and he obviously did drop off. He is definitely on my eye. Terry Rozier, I seem to draft him in every single draft. Solid 25 and 5. Can pretty much do it all, but I think I'm just going to go CJ here. I'm just going to up the threes, be competitive there. My points are through the roof, so I can really just focus maybe on blocks and steals the next few picks. Just to up that.
I think that's a solid pick there. It definitely fills a need of your team with those threes and getting those points early. So I like that pick. It's a classic Callum McMullen pick, but I think it is the right spot.
Look, I've always been a bit CJ McCallum is like a mix of my name, so I've always had a bit of a soft spot for him. Yeah,
you can definitely see the resemblance. All right, Adam, coming up to your pick here. What are we at? Pick 58, so you'll be at pick 59. Anyone you're eyeing down here in the spot?
No, look, I've got my percentages are probably not great, either of them, so I probably just want to try and shore up my percentages a little bit. I was punting blocks, but that's sort of fallen by the wayside, and I'm actually, I'm not good in blocks, but I'm not terrible either. I'm probably in the middle somewhere. So I sort of changed my tact a little bit there. And what are we at? 50.
Malcolm Brogdon's just gone off the board. So if you were considering him, he's gone.
And man, because as I said, I'm normally punting at this point, so I'm not actively looking for centres at this point of the draft. But damn, there are none.
I know
it
that
is
run,
really empty.
That run, it happens very quick before you know it.
So I'm just going to go with a nice across the board pick here and take Gordon Hayward.
Yep.
Pretty good roto guy. Doesn't really hurt you anywhere. Health a bit of a concern, but again for roto, I think he's fine around this area.
Yeah, I like it. Do you guys have a rule of, like, especially in a roto, I know we say this, like, you can take a bit more of those, like, risky, historically injured guys. Do you have a limit of how many of those guys you want to have on your team before you sort of feel like you have too many?
Yeah, I think you're right. You can have to take a bit more of a gamble just because of that whole 82 games played setting.
Cap,
the cap. I do like how you can, get a pretty solid bench. And especially in a league like this, say you got, this is a 10-man league.
Yeah.
So your team is going to be deep. Your bench players will be good, and it will be worthwhile, throwing them into the lineup pretty often.
I'll just interrupt you there, Cal, because Kyrie Irving just went at pick 61. What are our thoughts there? Adam, you make your selection here. I'll keep chatting to Cal. Cal, what are your thoughts of Kyrie Irving going at pick 61?
Look, I wanted to select him outside. I said I consider outside the 50, depending what my team was like. And if he fitted, then yeah, but it still is quite a gamble right now. No one really knows how that man works. He's very much an individual. So he could end up playing, less than 30 games. He could get the shot before the season and he'll be good to play 82. It's a bit of a mystery.
Yeah, look, I had him in my queue. I won't lie. He was in my queue. I was starting to think about it. Obviously, I won't have to make that decision anymore. Adam, you've taken Mikal Bridges there, very strong roto player. I'll get your take on Kyrie Irving before you talk about Mikal.
So what, he went at 71?
61.
61, sorry, we're not. Yep. Yeah, so too early for me.
Yeah.
I think even in 40, whatever game, 35, 40 games. I don't know. Maybe it is okay. We're still. This is still your starting lineup that we're doing now. But he's not going to fall. We've got 10 active roster spots, so he's not going to fall beyond the top 100.
No, he's definitely not getting that far.
No, so you're going to have to get him. And look, I suppose I haven't seen the team who drafted him.
Callum, you're on the clock, by the way. You keep selecting your team while we chat.
Yeah, and look, having a look at the team, I mean, maybe he can make some changes in terms of roster spots, but so far he's only got LaMelo as a guard, so he's only got 2 guard spots filled, LaMelo and Kyrie. I'm not sure whether Ingram might have guard eligibility and Chris Middleton. I'm not sure whether they do. So that's, or I mean, if he was your 4th guard, then maybe, but as a second guard, probably a bit early. But look, it's a mock draft, and you do what you want to do.
You can do what you want to do. There's a little consequence, but yeah, I do find it an interesting spot that he went there. Callum, you've taken Isaiah Stewart. I like the pick there, especially when we're getting a bit thin on centres here. Talk me through your selection there.
Yeah, that was kind of my reasoning. My only proper big man is Sabonis, who doesn't really give me any blocks at all. So right now my blocks are pretty atrocious. I think Stewart can give me like 1.5, not really hurt you anywhere. My points are through the roof, so I don't mind if Stewart only averages about 10 points a game. I'm going to be, definitely on the upper quartile on that area anyway. So Stewart, I think around that range, 65-ish. I've always been pretty happy taking him.
Yep, fair enough. And okay, so it's come on to my selection here. I've got definitely a few guards on the board here that I am eyeing off. There's a plentiful selection for me, so I am looking forward to my next pick. I'm deciding between Terry Rozier. Well, that was one of them. Darius Garland. Derek White is someone who I'm considering here. Just having a look at my team, I'm pretty strong in threes. I probably need some more steals is where I am lacking. So potentially I think that pushes me into going into the Derek White direction. Let me just check to make sure I haven't forgotten someone super obvious. Yeah, no, I think that's, yeah. I think at this point, pick 68. Surely, come on, Derek. Give me a good season finally. I've drafted you, I swear, 3 years in a row, and I'm still waiting for it. Hopefully this is the year. Come on, Derek.
I like Derek White there. I'm similar to you. I think maybe not the last 3 years, but at least the last 2 I've had him. And he's flashed. He's flashed what he can do.
He has. Yeah, he's been a bit unlucky with random injuries, toe injuries, and all this nonsense.
Yeah, like he hasn't had any injuries that you sort of jump off the page as they're going to be long-term things. So it's just been bad luck. So hopefully this is the season. I know a couple of years ago there was this sort of the thought process of whether you could have him on the floor with certain players, and but the Spurs are in a different position now, and he, as long as he's healthy, he should be playing a ton of minutes. And I think top 50 is certainly on the cards.
Yeah, I think so. He's definitely got that potential. And what did I get him at 68? I'm pretty happy there. Fit what I wanted to be doing. He's solid in both percentages, so not really hurting you anywhere. So that's the perfect kind of roto player that you like to see. Had Colin Sexton and Terry Rozier, so all players that I had in my queue, basically gone in a row. Darius Garland, Derek White, Terry Rozier, and Colin Sexton. I think those are all very good selections. And there's another guy in my queue, Cade Cunningham, has gone. What are you guys' thoughts? I'll talk to you, Cal. Cade Cunningham at pick 71. Are you all for it?
Yeah, he was high on my list, actually. I was considering him. I think in this kind of league, because he's a guy who shouldn't really hurt you too much. He's just going to be competitive in blocks. Not blocks, steals. I think as well as rebounds, assists, bit of points. Kind of like a bit of a LaMelo Ball from last season is kind of like the stats I would expect him. Maybe not as elite in steals. That was a bit of a shock. But Cade Cunningham, he's going to have the ball. He's going to play a lot of minutes. Another guy I'm looking at now, Jeremy Grant. Be interesting to see how that influences his kind of overall playmaking. He was obviously kind of the number one option. He will have to some degree, take a step back, but I still think the minutes and the plays should still be there to some degree. Maybe his field goal comes up, so I'm maybe even considering him at this point too.
Yeah, my queue's just been absolutely obliterated, and I'm stuck at a bit of a point here. Oh, this could be. Who should I go? I'm looking at a couple of. I still need some more steals. I'm trying to get ahead of this big man run. I don't necessarily love this pick, but it's a bit of a boring safe pick. PJ Washington. He's a center that's going to give me some steals, blocks, threes, solid all around. Not going to hurt me anywhere. So I guess it's a boring pick, but I didn't really love anyone in this range of the draft at this point. What are your thoughts on PJ, Adam?
I like him this year. What he started, he came off the bench yesterday.
He did, yeah.
Whether that's what they're looking at doing, or they're just, I mean, a lot of teams are just
mucking around,
toying with their lineups and stuff like that at the moment. So whether they're going to bring him off the bench as the backup center or shift Miles Bridges back to the bench, I don't know. But I think he should be at sort of a top, I would say easily a top 100 player if he can play 30 minutes this season. And as you said, he'll get you over a steal a game. He hits threes. His percentages aren't awesome, but they're not terrible either.
Yeah, low volume.
In a roto league, I think he's a really nice pickup here. And as you said, and I'm looking because I need rebounds. There's nothing there.
There's nothing there. Yeah, I can see two guys that I wouldn't mind having on my team, but that's about it. The rest drop away really quickly. Callum, you're on the clock here. What are your thoughts, mate?
I'm on the clock. I kind of got snapped a bit. I wanted Jeremy Grant. He got taken a couple picks beforehand, which is okay. I guess it is salvageable. I feel like I, to some degree, probably need to have a bit more of a forward. A bit low. I can salvage that maybe later. Right now, the forwards on top of the board, you got Boucher, who I'm just not really a fan of. Covington could be competitive in steals and blocks. Yes. Threes as well is another kind of weakness. I've got heaps of points, but his field goal does hurt.
12 seconds.
I'm just gonna go Covington. I think he just kind of fits this
damn
team.
It. No.
That's a good reaction. I like to hear it.
He probably wasn't making it back to me, but yeah, he was at the top of my board. I
think at this point in the draft, 77 for a bit of someone who is that elite in steals and someone who can get a block a game while also dropping a fair amount of threes. He is quite useful. I mean, yes, the field goal hurts. My field goal right now will be pretty on the kind of mid-range, probably inside looking out.
Sabonis,
I have
LeBron.
so many points. I can kind of take him in. If he averages about 12 points a game, it's not going to affect me.
Yeah, so because you were so gung-ho on points early, your last couple of selections in Stewart and Covington haven't hurt you that much because you're still going to be, I would estimate, with Westbrook, Luka, LeBron, all of those guys. You should
Sabonis,
still be
CJ.
You should be still right at the top of the board in points there. So that is the importance of getting that category early. Adam, you've gone with Kelly Olynyk there. I like the selection. He was definitely one of the two guys that I was saying I'd be comfortable drafting at my center position at pick 80, maybe a little bit earlier than we see him go, but I think that might be a result of the big men run. Would you agree?
It's probably, damn it, there goes Levert. It's probably a little bit earlier than I would normally go, but I need rebounds, and his percentages aren't terrible. He'll sneak a steal every game. He'll hit a three. He'll score a little bit. So again, in a roto league, I think he just doesn't really hurt you too much anywhere. Yep. And now I need assists, and that's why I wanted Levert.
Yeah, assists are now going to be hard to come by soon.
Yeah. I've got it.
Normie Powell just goes ahead of you, so you're back on the clock.
I've got two players in mind, if they're available. Yep, they're both there. So so I've got two players in mind. One is a veteran. One is very unproven.
Oh, okay. We love those unproven guys. I
do, and because it's a mock, it's like sort of a bit of whatever. So I'm going to go.
It could even be a boat
with Tyrese Maxey.
Oh, I do remember you taking him very early. Not even this early in the.
Not this early.
Yeah, in the 20 leaguer, and you've one-upped yourself again.
Yeah, I have. Well, I mean, I took him in that other league. I mean, I was sort of had an eye on him, but I know Josh wanted him as well, so that's sort of why I took him. But yeah, look, I mean, it's a mock, and if he starts, then he could get 5-6 assists a game, 15, 16 points.
I personally think he would have made it back to you
probably
in a 10-team draft like this at around, you'd be probably, picking a pick 100-ish?
Yep. And there goes so Conley was the other one I had an eye on there.
He was in my queue.
And probably if this was a real draft, I would have gone Conley.
Okay, a bit safer.
Just a bit safer. And in a roto, not as much of an issue. But in a mock like this, I'll just take a bit of a flyer on Maxi.
It's a good conversation point. But yeah, I think I would agree. I think you could play the ADP game and maybe get a Tyrese Maxey, who I do really like as a late round selection. And the closer we get to the season and the less news we have on Ben Simmons, the more and more we like him. So definitely someone who we like, and he was in our sleeper video and podcast recently. Callum, you've got 18 seconds.
I'm honestly just tossing up between a couple of bigs here. So I'm going to be Jared Allen or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I like the blocks. I'm going to go... I convinced myself with the name Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I think he's due for a pretty good season.
It's an excellent name.
He's just going to be blocks. My rebounds are pretty good, but I kind of just want to be competitive in that right now because such a big gap in my team. I got Stewart. I got Pirtle. It's a guy, obviously, who's not going to put up points, but I'm feeling pretty safe in that category. He's going to up my field goal to make it pretty competitive now as well. Yep. So...
Yep, another low scoring guy that you can take if you've looked after your points early. But yeah, especially in a build like yours where you are definitely leaning into that punt and free throws, but looking after all your other categories, he fits in nicely. Excellent blocks, good percentages. So yeah, he was another one of the guys that I said that and you definitely named the other guy, Jarrett Allen. I think that ends the big men run in my opinion. I think there's a huge drop off between him and the next one. And yes, I am going to get my guy here. I'm taking my first injury / risky. I suppose Jaren Jackson is a little bit, but I'm going to be selecting Jonathan Isaac here. It's my second to last starting roster spot, and I'm picking again in 4 picks time. So I'm taking someone who per game should comfortably beat this number, and helps me in a lot of areas that I need in steals and blocks, and just a player that I really, really do rate. So I do love me some Johnny Isaac, and I think at this point I'm very happy to get him and take that risk. What are your thoughts on Jonathan Isaac, Adam?
Yeah, look, I don't think I'm getting him anywhere, and I've probably soured a little bit just with the COVID thing and the injury. Like he's got a few different caveats or asterisks next to his name. So, yeah. But look, I mean, per game, we saw a couple of years ago when he did manage to play a nice stretch of games. He was pretty incredible. So if it pays off and he plays in a roto league, if he plays 60 games and you're getting him at pick
90,
88,
89 or whatever. Yeah,
then I mean he can be a top 30 player. We've seen that. So it's certainly worth a shot at this point in the draft.
Yeah, I think Callum had a good point when we talked about him in our injury shows that with his ADP, the risk was already built into his value anyway. So the COVID news, I kind of agree with Callum, and it doesn't shift what I think of him much at all, because he's already risky before that news came out. So yeah, it's another thing to think about. But again, in a roto league, I think he probably falls a bit further in a head-to-head league. But in a roto league, when you can just sort of sub him in and out and just take his per game value, I'm pretty happy with him there. I'm back on the board here. I need a guard to fill out my starting roster and lineup here. Having a look. I'm deciding between two players here. I'm gonna... What are we at? 93? No, let's go the fun pick. Let's do the fun pick. Let's go with a rookie, Jalen Green. Give me some late points. Should be some good threes. Obviously, we don't have to worry about John Wall anymore, so I think I picked 93. That's pretty fine. I was deciding between him and Devontae Graham was the other guy who I had there, but they're both going to have poor field goal percentage, so I think Green's upside is just a little bit higher with the team sort of built around him and not Zion in Graham's case. What are your thoughts on Jalen Green at pick 93 there, Cal?
I love me some Jalen Green. The man's a bucket. If you need points at this point in the draft, I think he's great to get. He'll have some off games. He'll probably have a below par field goal. That's to be anticipated, but the points will be huge. He could, put up the 5 rebounds, maybe 4 assists a game. I think he would portray a bit of what Anthony Edwards is putting up towards the later end of last season. But yeah, I think the man's definitely a walking 20-point a game at a minimum.
Yeah, and there goes the other Jalen Suggs. Coming up to you, Cal, the next pick. Oh, you're on the clock now. There goes Chris Boucher, who is out at the moment with that fractured finger. Who are you thinking here, Cal?
Well, I need a forward to just round out my roster, and he's kind of right at the top of the draft board. He's probably staring at me. I think it's a pretty safe bet to go with RJ Barrett at this point in time. He's only got a bit more of a ceiling. He should grow. He's got Kemba, maybe create a bit more space for him as well.
Improved his
shooting
last
at this
year.
point. Sorry?
I said he improved his shooting a lot last year, increased his threes a lot. I wonder if he can take another big jump again.
Exactly. And look, I need some more threes. That's probably somewhere I am lacking. I think RJ is the right pick for me just to round out my roster, and then I can maybe go for a bit more of a swing on my next pick.
Yeah, so we're getting close to our bench now, which is when the fun begins, and we can start to take some upside and some flyers. All right, Adam, you're coming up. What are you thinking here to finish up your starting roster?
Oh, I don't like anyone here. I probably, just looking down my team.
Evan Fournier is still on the board, who you were raving about earlier.
I do. He's on my list.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So yeah, it's sort of. It's still sort of assists for me a little bit. I think I sort of once I got Harden,
he's been taken away from you just before you're
very. Oh well, I had 2 players in my queue, so now I have 1. So I don't know if I trust myself and just go, yeah, all right, let's just do it. So I'm going to take Dinwiddie there, and just lean into my percentage punt. But yeah, assists this late are hard to get. So I'm just going to take him. I think points, I'm pretty good in points. I don't think I have to worry about points and threes for the rest of the draft. So it's more getting those other stats now. So he'll help me with assists, rebounds and blocks. But again, they're almost impossible. I do have a guy in mind for my next pick if he's there.
Well, your pick's not too far away, just 2 spots. So hopefully he doesn't get sniped from you.
Oh, actually, I should have taken him.
See, the tricky part about these 10-team leagues is that I'm looking at my team and I'm pretty happy with it, but I do have to remind myself that it's a 10-teamer and everyone's team's still looking pretty good. And there goes Nickeil Alexander-Walker at pick 100. He was definitely at the top of my board.
Yeah, I was just thinking the exact same thing, Mitch. This is what happens in a 10-team league. You have a pretty stacked lineup. Yeah, that's just what comes to it.
It always looks good.
So I'm looking at my team. I'm feeling good, but I think everyone else is.
Yeah, we in our home league at the Ball Boys, we run a 10-team head-to-head league, and I do find it fun. I do prefer it over those deeper leagues, but the deeper leagues do have their fun in picking those hidden gems late in drafts. Adam, you're back on the clock.
Yeah, I am.
My boy Brookie Lopez goes at 101.
That's good because I didn't want to have to take him.
I say that ironically. I don't actually like Brook Lopez.
So, yeah, I'm sort of looking for blocks here. And, I mean, there are There's few guys here, but they do literally nothing else. And maybe I don't want him. Actually, oh, man, I've only got 20 seconds.
Are we going to get the first auto pick in the draft?
No, I've got a guy in my queue, and I've got my mouse over the plus, so I'm good. All right, let's just go. So I'm taking Mo Bamba there.
Okay, I just added him to my queue.
Yeah, look, around this, I think he can be a top 100 player this season. It was hard to gauge yesterday in the Magic game what they're going to do and how they're going to run him and Wendell. But I think if they can split minutes, or Bumba can even, if he only plays 22, I think we saw yesterday, I think he almost double-doubled, or he did double-double and had 4 blocks or something. So,
I was watching a little bit of that game. He did look better than Wendell Carter. Calum and I are not big fans of Mo Bamba, but he did look pretty smooth out there, and shot looked good. And we know if he gets the minutes,
looks like he's filled out a bit.
Yeah,
I think, and I remember when he was drafted, there was all this talk about him, and I think it's just taken him a couple of years to get his body right for the league, and he certainly looks more comfortable now on the floor.
Yeah, Callum, you're on the board here. 30 seconds. Who are you looking at?
I'm going to say with that Mo Bamba pick, with that zig, I will zag, and I would take Wendell Carter.
The Block Panther.
That's it. Just to round out my roster a bit, I think, look, there's upside there. I do agree with what you're saying. I think Mo Bamba and Carter will probably split the minutes. They'll probably be around the 25 minutes a game each, potentially. And on a night-to-night basis, maybe some of them, if they're a bit hot, he'll just get more of the minutes. That's how they'll play it out in Orlando. I will correct you a little bit on Mo Bamba. I only hate his play as a more in the real world as a fantasy player.
No, we love his fantasy game.
I think he's definitely got some prowess. Fantasy player, look, get him on my team. Is he going to win a playoff series? Absolutely not. But he could help you in fantasy.
My guy who I was pretty keen about, Evan Mobley, goes just before me. I'm surprised he lasted this long, to be honest, at pick 107. I do think he's going to have a big second half of the year. And he did start today over Lowry Markkinen, which I think is interesting. I'm looking at here. I'm looking to shore up my assists because I know they're going to get pretty hard to find later. And he played pretty well today. He's an Aussie, so let's get me some Josh Giddey.
I was hoping he'd be there for me. It was wishful thinking.
No. No Josh Giddey for you. No. 3 Aussies in this draft.
Damn it, there goes Tate.
Jay Sean Tate. Yeah, he was the starter. Was he the starter today? No, it was Eric Gordon that started today, I think, for the Rockets.
Correct.
Yeah, Eric Gordon will be injured within a week. So
that's true. I was going to say, even if he does start, I don't know how many minutes he's getting. And there's Al Horford.
The thing about Eric Gordon, he's definitely going to be in the trade market. So if you draft him now, I guarantee he will be on another team. And whether that's a bench role, which is probably maybe on the more likely end of the spectrum, I think that's where it's going to be throughout the year. On a roto league, maybe it doesn't affect you as much.
A few of my guys getting taken here. Mitchell Robinson was someone who I was eyeing down just for that upside if I need to plug him in. There's a guy at the top of the board here I'm still surprised hasn't gone, and I'm going to have to take him. I'm going to have to take Devontae Graham at 113. I know his field goal percentage sucks, but threes, points, assists. Thank you very much. I'll take me some Devontae Graham. I probably need to look at getting some bigs and forwards to round out my draft. But yeah, pretty happy with Devontae Graham at 113. What are your thoughts there,
value
guys?
Pick. Definite value pick. Look, field goal hurts, but his threes will be good. He'll be next to Zion. He'll get a lot of open shots. He is a bit of a hot, cold kind of guy on that end, but he'll explode for a few games. So I think he'll look pretty good.
Just hope that when he goes off, he'll be on my starting roster and not on my bench, and not the other way around with these bench roto picks. All right, Kelly Oubre Jr. goes off the board. Not a huge fan of Oubre this year. Just, I don't know. It's a weirdly stacked Hornets roster with Bridges there, with Gordon Hayward, although he could get injured. So I guess on your roto bench, it's not the worst thing. But I don't know. I don't necessarily see Phoenix Kelly Oubre Jr. coming back. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, not sure, to be honest, because we've seen polar opposites in the last 2 years. So, I mean, if he's somewhere in between Washington and Phoenix, or Golden State and Phoenix, then I think he's draftable. But I think I really like the Hornets roster, and I just don't think that they're going to need him to do a ton. So, look, I think, what are we, 114?
114, yeah.
Yeah, probably a bit early, but I'm okay. I mean, once you're in this area of the draft, it's a bit of a roll of the dice anyway.
Yeah.
So
I suppose he is someone that has reached those heights before. So there is that upside there. You can't deny that because obviously he's done it before. So I guess from that standpoint, it's not the worst. All right, Callum, you're coming up in a pick's time. We just had Keldon Johnson go off the board. Who are you thinking?
I haven't really got a backup guard yet, so I'm actually kind of eyeing down Potentially Dennis Schroeder.
All-star Reggie just goes off the board.
Yeah, All-Star Reggie gone. But I think as a backup guard, Schroeder's pretty good. He's going to get minutes out in the Celtics. I would like his threes to be a bit better. Field goal percentage obviously isn't amazing, but as a backup guard, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to take him.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I'm not too enthused by it. I don't know how much upside there is at this point.
Yeah, but like for 117 for a starting point guard who will definitely go off here and there as a bit of a fill-in for my roster, I'm okay with that.
You say starting point guard. I don't know if he starts. I actually don't think he does.
Yeah,
I think it's
going to be Pritchard's stolen from him.
No, I think they're going to go with Smart at the point guard, and they're probably going to get someone like either a Neesmith or a Richardson in at the 2, or they move Jaylen Brown down to the 2, Tatum to the 3, and they go Al Horford, Williams lineup. So I actually don't think that Schroeder starts personally, but he should get plenty of minutes.
Yeah, regardless, he's probably going to put up 26 minutes a game, and his output still will be pretty good points. I don't really need points that drastically, but I think as a guard, it's kind of what you're after, and
we've seen him
get assists as well.
We've seen him invaluable off the bench, like in OKC. So I was just saying that. I don't think he'll be starting in case people are thinking Matisse Thybulle.
That was one of the guys on my list. I was considering Matisse.
Yes.
I thought he's a good fit for my team. I'm actually really let down. He's gone. My next pick might have to be a similar player who's the last guy on my queue now, so hopefully it's not start for me.
That was a good pick there, Adam. I think you got the approval from the ball boys. What are your thoughts with Matisse there?
Probably a bit biased because of the Olympics and everything. So, and
he definitely won us over.
Yeah, and I mean steals and blocks. He'll get me plenty of those. He does hurt me in a couple of categories because he rarely scores at all.
Nothing.
So it's not like he's even scoring 11 points and he's slightly underwhelming. Yeah. He may score 4 points a game or 6 points.
Fuck.
Oh, there goes Melton.
Yeah.
Melton.
He wasn't going to make it back to me, was he?
Oh shit! I'm on the clock again. So, based on that fact, I'm probably going to have to get a scorer now. I sort of said earlier that points was a category that I could almost ignore, but I'm going to go with, if he's there, yes he is, I'm going to go with Jordan Poole for my next one.
My queue's just getting annihilated at the moment.
I didn't even have him in my queue, and I just realised he hadn't gone. So I was going to go with Dylan Brooks there, but
I think that's a much better selection.
Yeah, I like Poole.
Yeah,
and he went
off
really
the other
good
day
yesterday.
Yeah, look, it's just a preseason game, guys. But he looked good.
I think that's gonna catch a lot of eyes, and he was on our sleeper video. I think he'll be well in the public eye after the other game. 7 threes, 30 points. Yeah.
Yep.
The man can score.
And he's arguably the second option on offense behind Steph. I mean, Wiggins is there as well, but
Wiggins did get his vaccination, so he's not going to be missing half the season like Kyrie currently is, but I'm still high on him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm pretty happy to get Poole there, I think.
Let's also touch on DeAnthony Melton. He's another guy who we're all very excited about if he ever gets minutes. Callum, you can make your pick. But Adam, are you a DeAnthony Melton truther?
Oh, I try to be. I think I'm in the same boat as everyone. I mean, we've seen him do stuff, but they just don't give him minutes. He started today.
Yes,
what that means, I don't know.
He started over Kyle Anderson, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, but
Brooks didn't play.
No, he didn't play. Brandon Clark didn't play either.
I don't know if Brandon Clark will play, to be honest.
Well, I don't know. I really like Brandon Clark, but I don't know where he fits. So, look, I don't know. I mean, at this point of the draft, you take Melton, absolutely.
Yeah, I think so.
Because if he can play, I don't know, I would say 26 minutes might be wishful thinking. I don't know. But if he can get to 25, 26 minutes, then he could be a top 60, top 70 player comfortably.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. I've always been a big DeAnthony Melton fan. I think that they've set the tone with the moves they made in the off-season, so I'm optimistic that he can get there. Callum, you selected Scotty Barnes, so now we're really taking our guys here.
I thought it was a good pick. I was considering him with Matisse Thibault on my last one because I needed a forward. I think this guy's upside in the defensive end could be just as good as Matisse, but he'll also definitely put more assists together. He will get minutes to start the season with Pascal out there, and I think he will force some minutes for the remainder of the season because he can guard 1 through 5.
Yeah,
you can keep him out there with so many lineups.
Pascal Siakam's out, and now we know Boucher is out as well. So I think there's lots of minutes, especially early in the season for Scotty Barnes. And look, they moved up. Well, they didn't move up, but they surprisingly selected him at the 4th pick. So they love the guy. They wanted that. They've already said that he's going to be playing tons of minutes, I think was the quote. So I think he's an excellent late round flyer. Personally, he's got a very friendly fantasy game if you can stomach the lack of points. All right, this is where we're taking all our guys here, so I'm very happy at pick 128 to get my boy here. Jaden McDaniels didn't look great today, didn't put up a great stat line in the preseason game today, but I'm not deterred. I think he's got all the minutes heading his way at the power forward / small forward position in Minnesota. Blocks, steals, threes, some decent rebounds. I think he has some upside at this point in the draft. Larry Markkinen went a couple of picks before me. Came off the bench for the Bulls. Sorry, not the Bulls, the Cavs today. What are we thinking with the rotation over there in Cleveland? Is Larry Markkinen coming off the bench for the entire year? Do we think, Cal?
I think that is trying to mix it up. It's hard to determine what that roster is going to be like because Mobley they picked with the 3rd pick in the draft. It's a pretty good investment, but they paid Markkinen a lot of money. So one of them can start. You got Jared Allen there, who's the $100 million man as well in the center position. So I'm not too sure is probably long answer short.
I think that's probably the most accurate answer. I'm not too sure either. I thought that they were going to go Markkinen first, but today's game, I'll be watching closely. I think maybe they will go Mobley. I do think that improves his stock a little bit. All right, and this is the fun draft. I'm taking upside Alperen Şengün just so Callum doesn't get him on his last pick.
So my guy.
Love him. I think obviously even in like 13 minutes today he put up 8 rebounds, a steal, a block, an assist, 5 points. So all he needs is like 20, 22 minutes a game, and in Roto towards the end of the season I can easily see him getting that. So very happy to take him there for my last pick. All right, your last pick's coming up soon, Cal. Who are you eyeing off as your last flyer?
Look, I'm eyeing down. Maybe a Tyler Hero went off today. We know he will definitely have the 6-man role out in Miami. So he's kind of on top of my list. His field goal does hurt. Look, that's true. Is there anyone else? Maybe Cole Anthony on the guard. He will be starting. He did show some flashes towards the end of last season. Patrick Williams, I want some defensive stats. Maybe. You got Terrence Mann. I actually really like Terrence Mann as well this year. Sleeper for most improved. I think he will get minutes.
I was high on Terrence Mann until it doesn't look like he's going to be starting. He might break his way in there throughout the season, but I personally I've soured a little bit on him. But it could change soon. All right, who you're on the clock here, Cal?
I'm on the clock. I'm just going to have to take my Miami Heat guy and Tyler Hero, I think.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think he's a heat check guy. He's still good. He was ranked at 171 on Yahoo, I think it was. But they've recently adjusted it and brought him into I think it was like 124 or something around that mark. So glad to see that they've moved him up. All right, Adam, last pick for you. Who are you looking at?
I don't know. There's actually a ton of options.
It's a 10-team league, so that you still have a few things to look at.
Look, I'll probably take TJ Warren.
Yep. No, very good option.
But it's an IR spot. Just keep him there until if he's ready to go. I mean, we haven't really heard much, but I'm okay with taking him there. I mean, he's got top 50 upside, so.
I won't lie, I completely forgot about TJ Warren, and I probably would have selected him with my last pick if I hadn't. But so yeah, I think that's a great selection.
You've ended up with the Turkish MVP. You can't be complaining.
Yeah, no, I will take my Alperen Şengün. And with the last pick, Kobe Kenobi, who have you got? We've got one more pick in the draft. So in a second, we'll go through our picks here, guys, explain sort of our thought process from the start of the draft and how that shaped our picks, where we think we're strong in. Unfortunately, I don't think Fantrax has like a projections in how they think the league's going to go, unlike Yahoo, but we'll have a look at that. And Killian Hayes last off the board. I don't mind that pick. It's definitely some upside there in assists and steals. Let's start with you, Callum. Talk us through your draft and how you thought you went. Any regrettable picks, your favourite picks, and overall strategy.
Look, we'll work my way through. I started with Luka, so I knew my field goal and free throw. So both those kind of categories I would try and potentially make up, or I'd maybe punt one, but those things do let me down. But the points, rebounds, assists, that is so huge, especially in a league like this. The defensive stats aren't there either, but those three are just so heavy that this gives me such a boost. I then went on to take Sabonis for kind of like a similar reason, a big man. The big man, they're hard to come by, as we touched on during this draft. So I was kind of happy to take him, maybe a bit of a reach, but I think the big guys, look, I just had to take him just to feel a bit more comfortable. I then went into a LeBron James, followed by a Westbrook tandem, which once again, it's just stacking the points, rebounds, and assists. So those categories, I'm elite. So then after that, I kind of just started to find some guys to specialize in. I got a DeJounte Murray who specializes in steals. I got a CJ McCollum who gives me a lot of points again, upping up the points, but also the threes. I then jumped to Isaiah Stewart to get my center spot. I think he's a bit of a sleeper this year. I'm really happy to get him in the 60s. He could be a top 50 guy. And then Robert Covington, steals, blocks, threes, another specialist. I've got Jakob Poeltl, great in blocks. RJ Barrett, just to round out my forward roster, which he's just a solid pick. A boring pick, but a solid pick. And then my bench guys, a bit more flyers. Wendell Carter, he could be dropped, I don't know, on the waiver wire. Maybe Mo Bamba takes his role. It's okay. I got Schroeder, who I think is a reasonable backup guard. Scotty Barnes, who I think is a bit of a sleeper. He's looking pretty good these days. And Tyler Hero to round out my roster.
Yeah, I do like. I especially liked. I think your Covington pick at pick 77 was really good, and Scotty Barnes I am a big fan of late in the draft. Adam, let's talk through your teams. Any favourite picks of yours, or picks you regret, or any general strategy things you want to touch on with your team?
No, look, I mean, being my first roto draft, it was interesting because having to look for stats that I'm not usually looking for, and looking at the rankings and projections and all that sort of thing a different way.
Yes.
I'm generally pretty happy. Probably a couple of picks there that weren't ideal, and a couple of reaches as well. Harden with my first pick is fine. Happy to get him. Happy to get Vooch with my second pick.
I think that was good value.
My third pick, who'd I go? Zach LaVine. I think that's about right for him. It's probably his ceiling. There's not much value, but he gets me points.
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny point in the draft there because there isn't, I don't know, too many guys screaming out there that could improve really at that point in the draft.
No, and as you said, he's solid in both percentages, which is really helpful in a roto league. So pretty happy to get him there. Then I went with Christian Wood. Again, probably his ceiling, but this is where the centers start to go. So I needed rebounds here. Followed up with Anthony Edwards. So that was sort of shoring up my steals and points again early on with him. 40's probably a bit early, but I think that's where you're going to have to take him. Yeah. I think that's his ADP is climbing slowly.
Again, that emphasis on points, I think, is the reason. Yeah.
There. Yep. So then where'd I go after him? Gordon Hayward, good roto guy, doesn't hurt you anywhere. Top 50 sort of player. Followed with McCall Bridges, so much the same. So that was sort of two really good roto guys there back to back. Then I went with Kelly Olynyk at 79. That's probably about as high as I've seen him go.
If I remember correctly, that was a result of the center run, the big run towards the end there.
Yeah, it was. And again, in a roto, he doesn't destroy me anywhere.
Yeah.
So I was sort of coming into the season, I was hoping that he'd be falling to 100, 110, but he seems to be just sneaking up draft boards and going in the 90s. So a little bit early, but I'm not too disappointed. Then I went with Tyrese Maxey. That is a reach, but as I said, it would have been Conley there who would have looked much better in the 9th round. But maybe Tyrese Maxey proves us wrong and comes out and plays 30 minutes and gets, 18 points, 6 assists. I don't know if it's going to happen. But
if we've learned anything the last couple of mock drafts that are on our podcast, it's that Tyrese Maxey has the Adam King sleeper stamp of approval, I think.
He does at the moment, yeah. But, I mean, as I said in that 20-team one, if Simmons
he wasn't
is traded,
coming back to you either.
Who's coming back in a trade as well? Right. So, it is a risk. But then we went with Dinwiddie. I'm probably not too happy with that pick there. I know he'll get assists and points. Doesn't really do anything else, though. When I think about it, his percentages aren't great. He doesn't really get steals, doesn't hit a lot of threes. So that's probably the pick I'm least happy with. And then my bench was Mo Bamba, Matisse Thybulle, Jordan Poole and TJ Warren. I'm pretty happy with all of those guys. They all bring something to the table. And TJ Warren is my last pick. Like I said, he is sliding down draft boards because he's not getting picked. And so he is a player who, as you said, people are forgetting about him a little bit.
I literally forgot him.
And if he only misses 15, 20 games in a roto format, then I'm happy to get 50 or 60 games from a top 60 player.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And, like I said, if I had remembered to, I definitely would have selected him too. So I think he was a good pick. I'll talk through my team here. Started with Damian Lillard, who I think is a bit of a steal and a guy who fell in that first round at pick 8. Followed up with who I think is a clear top 13 guy in Bradley Beal. In a roto format, you can afford to, especially with those riskier vaccination sort of guys, if they miss a game, it doesn't hurt you too much in like a playoff situation or anything like that. I think my team overall is fairly average in everything, which we'll see how that plays out. I think I've looked after my percentages really well. I should be strong in both field goal and free throw. I've got no one really destroying my percentages anywhere. I'm pretty happy with how my big guys looked out with DeAndre Ayton, Robert Williams, Jaren Jackson Jr., PJ Washington. So I'm pretty happy with how those guys looked. I made a conscious effort to get those guys maybe slightly earlier than maybe what they might finish the year as, but I think just with that positional scarcity, I'm very happy with where I got them. And then, few upside guys. I targeted assists early with my bench guys with Giddey and Devontae Graham because I know that that's hard to get. And I think I was lacking a little bit with some players like Jalen Green, who might not get me too many assists, who are sitting in my guard spots, and none of my bigs really pass the ball too much. So needed to shore up those assists in case I need to pivot and boost that up a little bit. Jaden McDaniels and Sengun, just pure upside guys who I'm a big fan of and I think have big seasons ahead of them. So that'll do it for us today, guys. Let us know in the comments what you thought of the draft. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Let us know who you think had the best draft. Let us know how you think we went in the roto format. If you like this type of content, let us know in the comments. Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Thumbs up the YouTube video. Make sure you're subscribed everywhere, wherever you're listening. And we will catch you guys next time. Laters.